have a story that I'd like to share with you regarding this fourth commandment. And when I was preparing to go to seminary at Unity Institute, we had several classes to take, which were called SEE courses. And that SEE stood for Spiritual Education and Enrichment. And they were to help prepare us for the courses that we'd be taking in seminary. One of the courses I needed to take was called Overview of the Hebrew Scriptures, and it was taught by Reverend Don Jennings. Now, Don Jennings looked exactly like my dad. My dad had passed when I was 18 years old, and he had been a Lutheran minister of a Missouri Synod denomination. And Don Jennings was the spitting image of my father. Everything that he did reminded me of him. He acted like my dad. He spoke like my dad. He even leaned over and picked up a piece of candy off of the ground that he had dropped, and he did it just exactly like my dad would have. And it was interesting that he was the one that was teaching me about the Hebrew Scriptures, because my father, being a Lutheran minister, I was born in church practically. I lived in the parsonage, which was right next to the church. I played between the church and the parsonage, and I was in church every single Sunday. And so in the journey of my faith's evolution, I had begun to question how a loving God would send people who he created to hell to burn forever. And in the quest of understanding how that would all fit together, I had to take my Lutheran faith and just set it aside. Not that I dismissed it, but I just needed to set it aside to explore what actually is happening here with the source that gives us life. And how is it that it can love us at a level that is incomprehensible, the agape loving level, and what is it that we've believed about this God that seems to not make sense? So as I went to college, I set aside my Lutheran faith, and I explored for a deeper, more abiding truth that felt like in my soul, in my heart, that it resonated as true. So my father had passed when I was 18 years old, and I didn't really get a sense of resolution with my dad around his faith and that which he taught me, and the Hebrew Bible and the belief systems that came from that. So here I am in seminary, or getting ready to go to seminary myself, and this person is teaching me the Hebrew text, and he looks exactly like my dad. In the process of learning about the Hebrew text, it came alive for me again. It came alive for me in a new way, in that I understood that I could look at the texts of the Bible and the scriptures of the Bible and look at the meaning underneath the scripture that have relevance to my life today. And in Unity, we call that a metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, literally looking beyond the physical, metaphysical, beyond the physical, to the energy and the essence and the spiritual content of the lesson beneath it. So as you would imagine, in my course with Don Jennings, he gave me a scripture to metaphysically interpret. And that verse he was sharing out, he gave all of us a different one. And my name came up and he said, Kristen, metaphysically interpret Exodus 20:12. And so I wrote that down. It was at the end of class. And when I got home, I looked up the text. And as I read it, I started to cry. And I want to share with you that Exodus 20:12 was about honoring your father and your mother. And here I'd had such a journey. My parents got divorced when I was 11, and my dad kind of disappeared out of my life when I was 11, and my mom got remarried. My stepdad was physically abusive. And so there was so much that had happened in my journey with my parents, and there was a lot of pain associated with it, a lot of difficulty. And here I was being given this scripture that was saying to honor my father and my mother, and potentially for my stepfather, even though the journey I'd had been quite tumultuous. And it was a cathartic experience for me, but a blessing for me indeed. because it gave me a chance to recognize that my parents did the very best they could. They brought to me the highest truth they knew. They gave to me the very best that they could give me. They clothed me, they housed me, they gave me food and a shelter to grow up in. And although it was not perfect, and there were places where I wish things had been a little better, they had done the best they could. And if they could have done better, they would have. I'm certain of that they tried to give me the best that they knew. And in this scripture, it uncoded all of that. It detangled all of the energy that I was holding about my parents. And it gave me the opportunity to share with my class when I came back to metaphysically interpret the honoring of my father and my mother and the journey that I'd gone through. It gave me a chance to detangle all of the energy that I was actually holding current time about past times. And in that detangling, one of my fellow students in SEE course gave me this beautiful piece of art. And you can see that there are 3 separate entities inside of that, all surrounded by gold. And what they told me was the past is gone, and what has been created from that past is beautiful. That my life is beautiful. That who we are is beautiful, and that somehow all of it is encased in a grace, in a space, in a light of honor, because it was what it was, and it was necessary to bring forth the person who I am today. And it has brought forth the person that you are today. Your parents have brought forth you. And literally we stand on their shoulders of what they learned to reach higher and to reach for a greater understanding and a deeper embodiment of love. And that is the gift that they gave to us, to have an opportunity to be alive, to be on the planet, to have an opportunity to use our eyes and our heart and our minds and our souls in a way that will give life and honor to this world. So I interpreted that what it means to honor someone. I looked up the definition of it, and it says to regard or treat with admiration and respect, and also to give special recognition to or confer honor upon someone or something. Another interpretation also means to fulfill an obligation or to keep an agreement. So all of this kind of blended together to give me a sense that who I was created by the people who gave me an opportunity to live on this planet. And that by honoring that, it detangles my energy. It allows the energy of gratitude and love to move through me to my parents in thankfulness for giving me the chance to be alive on this earth, and giving me a chance to fulfill my own potential. I invite you, as you go forth from this time here together today, to remember the energy of honor. To remember that within your own heart as you live today, that can you get into a space of that with your parents, to find a space of honor for them for giving you life, to detangle any energies that may be less than honor, and to shift those into a state of giving gratitude for being. I love and honor and bless you. I'm grateful to have a moment with you. I'm grateful to have a chance to connect with you in an energy of love, respect, and gratitude. Namaste.